Hi, I'm Nancy Friedman, the telephone doctor. We've had lots of requests from our clients to do a program on coaching skills, and that doesn't surprise me. We all know there have been many major changes in the business world. It wasn't too long ago that managers would do more commanding, controlling, and delegating, but not much coaching. Someone on a different management level had the responsibility for training and coaching. But because of the changes in business and government, all of a sudden many managers have been put into the role of coaches. And there's also a driving need to stay competitive. Valuing and developing our human capital is a primary way to stay ahead of the competition. Unfortunately, some of these newly appointed coaches assume their responsibilities and have tried to do the job without much training on the subject of coaching. Watch this.
Robert, I monitored that last call of yours. You really missed the boat on that one. And what happened to that new wording I gave you to use? You didn't use any part of it. I mean, it isn't like you didn't remember it. You just completely ignored it. It kind of makes me wonder about your attitude. I just don't think you want to get with the program. I'm going to have to put a report on this into your file. What are you looking at?
You know what? I'm trying to do my best, but I don't think this is the right job for me. That manager is impossible to satisfy. There's too much pressure here. I'm going to look in Sunday's paper for another job.
That's what we don't want, and why we're presenting today's program, to help you be an effective coach, to allow you to get better performance from employees and other team members without their feeling pressured or unappreciated. Coaching is a lot more than a hot topic. It's a necessity, a must. We need to stretch and maximize the skills of the workforce we have. That way we can do the jobs needed for the organization to be able to function. Now, let's get to our program and share some ideas on coaching skills, ideas you can use right away. Let's be clear about what we mean by coaching. When most people hear the word coaching, this is what they usually think of. Coaching is often associated with sports teams, but coaching in business is becoming so common that now there are probably more coaches in the business world than in the sports world. Of course, what we're interested in is coaching in the business world, about the skills and attitude that today's manager needs to be an excellent coach. Now, to truly understand coaching, we need to ask and answer some questions. First of all, what do we mean by coaching? Coaching is strategically guiding someone into improved performance. And here are some other questions. Where does training come in? How does training relate to coaching? And how does that differ from counseling? And what are the differences between the three, training, coaching, and counseling? Let's see if we can put things in perspective. We're going to give you a practical working description of training, coaching, and counseling. The process starts with training. That's the first step. Training is teaching your employees what to do and how to do it. Let's say you're training a group. What usually happens is that most of the group understands, learns, and benefits from the information you've taught. Unfortunately, not everyone gets it. So what do we do about a small percentage of employees, often good, conscientious people who may need personalized attention after training? Those are the ones who need coaching. Remember, coaching is strategically guiding someone into improved performance. It's analyzing feedback to see the areas where training has not taken hold, identifying the gap between performance and expectations. That's where coaching comes in. These are the people who need one-on-one, customized help to develop their skills. Okay, we've talked about training and coaching. Well, what is counseling, and where does it come in? Counseling in the workplace is helping someone explore and possibly resolve problems that could be having an impact on the employee's performance. Counseling is utilized if, for whatever reason, the employee isn't performing. It's for that special situation when training and coaching have not worked, where the employee is capable but isn't performing to his or her potential, especially if there's some distraction that is not job-related. We're going to devote our attention to coaching. It's a 4-step process, and we call it the 4 C's of coaching skills. The 4 C's are: 1, concurrence, agreement that a gap in performance exists. 2, content, agreement as to what the gap is and what to do about it. 3, commitment, agreement to take action to fill the gap. 4, congratulations or continuation, reward the new behavior or agree to keep working on it. Let's take them one at a time. First, concurrence.
Robert, how would you evaluate that last call?
Well, it was pretty good.
What specifically did you feel good about?
Well, I was friendly. I remembered to smile.
Right?
I mean, I enjoyed talking to all kinds of people. It's interesting work.
Okay. Well, was there anything you think you could have done better?
I don't know. I guess I'm having trouble with some of the words I'm supposed to use.
Okay, what do you think is causing that?
I'm not sure how to pronounce some of the words. My English, it's good, but it's not great. And if I mispronounce these words, I feel the caller will think I'm stupid. So I leave out some of the sentences or I change some of the words.
Well, I agree. These are a few things you can improve on.
Concurrence is important. Unless you and the trainee agree that there's a gap in performance, you won't coach to your full capacity for effectiveness. We need concurrence. Next, let's talk about content. The next step is to identify the content that needs to be improved and agree on that. What needs to be done? What are some of the issues involved? Robert told us what was troubling him. He was concerned about the pronunciation of certain words, and the coach agreed. I wish every situation were as easy to identify, and many are to a patient, skilled coach. You might wonder why Robert didn't speak up in the training class. Well, the usual reason is that some trainees may be insecure and don't want to look bad in front of other employees or the trainer. Let's get back to the coach and Robert.
So you're concerned that your uneasiness with certain words causes you to avoid parts of the script. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay. What else, besides pronouncing certain words, causes you to leave out parts of the script?
Well, it just doesn't sound like the way I talk. They're not my words. I feel uncomfortable.
So we have gaps in the script delivery that are a result of your feeling uncomfortable with the wording. Is that right?
Right. I'm glad you understand what I mean.
The coach and the trainee need to agree that there is a gap in performance, what the gap is, and then make a commitment to solve the problem.
Robert, let's go over the script and identify the words that are giving you trouble. Make a list of them. Then we can practice pronouncing them. You could even put together your own pronunciation list and keep it next to your script. Does that sound like a good idea?
Sure. That would help a lot.
Okay, after that, how about an audio tape of each word's correct pronunciation for you to practice with? Would that be helpful?
Yeah, that would be good. Thanks.
Good. And after we've done that, I can count on you to follow the script?
Yes. Yes, you can.
What we have with Robert is a rather common situation, a capable, conscientious employee who wants to do a good job, and with some coaching, the job will be done right. So now it's time for our fourth C, congratulations or continuation. Let's see how Robert's doing a little later.
Oh, hi, Robert. Thanks for coming in. Hey, I've been monitoring your calls. There's been a big improvement. Congratulations. You're really pronouncing your words well and following the script. I like the improvements you've made.
Thank you.
You know, I think that talk we had and the resources we got are really helping.
Yeah, I feel more confident.
And it shows.
1, concurrence. 2, content. 3, commitment. 4, congratulations or continuation. That's great. Congratulations to Robert, who made the improvements, and congratulations to the coach. Together, they have improved Robert's performance and helped the company improve its performance. In that example, we saw a case of coaching to improve the ability to perform. Now let's see another common situation. This one involves an employee who doesn't know there's a performance problem. Our coach will require some special skills here, not because Carla is especially difficult or defensive. It's more of a case that she just doesn't get it. She isn't aware there's a better way to do it.
Carla, you've been here for 10 years. You're a highly valued member of our team. You're quick and your information is accurate. There are some things, however, about your performance that we need to talk about.
Oh, what's that?
Well, I've received several complaints about you because people felt they were being treated rudely.
Well, I haven't been rude to anyone. I've been doing this for years. I know when I'm being rude, and I haven't been rude to anyone. I'm giving them the information they need. I don't know where they're coming from. You ought to hear how some of them talk to me.
Now, obviously, confrontation is not one of the 4 C's. Let's watch our coach move to concurrence.
Well, sometimes we do get callers who are hot under the collar, and they're a real challenge. Do you agree that it's important that customers who call us need to have a good experience and be treated well?
Of course, otherwise we'd be out of business.
So, would you agree that if some of those callers perceive that they're being treated rudely, it's important that we find out what's causing them to feel that way?
Yeah, I guess so.
I'd like to sit in and monitor your calls. Then we can talk about some of the calls afterwards to determine what's the difference in perception. As I understand it, your perception is that you're not being rude to the callers, but the perception of some callers is that you are being rude. Do you agree?
Yeah, I suppose.
Tell you what, I'll monitor some calls, then let's get together and discuss them, okay?
All right, let's see what you come up with.
Now our coach will monitor to determine the content that needs attention and improvement.
Customer service, this is Carla.
Yeah, I need to call in and lodge a complaint. We were supposed to get our order today, and the truck didn't show up. We didn't get the delivery.
Your name?
Wilhelm, Donald Wilhelm, over at Home Furnishing Center,
Street address?
9800 Lake Boulevard.
City?
We're in St. Louis.
Okay, I'll turn your complaint over to shipping right away, Mr. Wilhelm. Thank you.
Yep.
Carla, how did you feel about that last call?
Well, just fine. I know what happened to his delivery. The truck in Zone 6 is broken down today. I had a call just like that a little while ago.
Can you think of any way you could have improved that call?
I'm not sure what else I could have done. I took the information like I always do, and I told him I'd report his late delivery. I just don't know what these folks are wanting that I'm not doing.
Well, what information might you have shared with him to make him feel better about the situation?
Well, I guess I should have told him about the truck breaking down, and I could have assured him of getting priority status for tomorrow's run.
Okay, good. Do you see where that information would have been of interest to the caller?
Yeah. At least then he'd have a reason for the delay.
You're right. You would have made the caller feel much better. Now, is there any other way you could have improved?
Well, I can't think of any at the moment.
Well, what about thanking the caller for alerting us to the problem?
Well, yeah.
And how could we get you to be warm and friendly to the callers? Or let me turn this around for a minute. I noticed at the company picnic that you and Laura from accounting seem to be having a good time together.
Oh, don't remind me of the picnic. From what I was told, we may have had a little too much fun.
Well, tell me this. What would have happened if Laura had just called in with the same complaint?
Well, I'd have been friendlier, but that's because she's a personal friend.
Mm-hmm. So how do you think Donald Wilhelm would react if you treated him the same way that you would treat Laura?
Well, I never thought about that. I guess he wouldn't mind. In fact, he'd probably like it.
I agree with you. He would like it. Most everyone would rather be treated in a friendly manner instead of cold and impersonally. Carla, based on what we're talking about, how do you think we can improve? What can we do to have all your callers perceive that you're giving excellent customer service?
Well, I think I already give excellent customer service.
I know you do, but we're talking about having all your callers perceive that you're giving excellent customer service. How could you improve?
Well, if a delivery doesn't make it and I know the reason, I could tell the caller.
Right. What else?
I could tell him about his missed delivery getting first priority tomorrow morning.
Both are very good points. What else?
And, yeah, I'll try to be more friendly. That's going to take some getting used to. I thought I'd been doing it.
How can we help you remember to be friendlier and to give more information?
I'll just need to keep reminding myself to give additional information if I have it. And maybe I can put up a sign, "Be friendly," in my work area. Or maybe I'll tape up a picture of Laura and me at the company picnic to remind me to treat customers like friends.
Now that we agree on what the performance gap is and what to do about it, let's move to commitment.
So being conscious of giving additional information will help. And either the sign or the picture would be fine. Can I count on you to do that?
Sure, Jim. I'll work on it.
Did you notice some of the techniques our coach used? He continually tried to involve Carla to contribute her ideas to the discussion, and that's far more effective than just telling Carla what the coach wanted improved, especially since the coach wasn't sure. He was treating her as though her perception were as important as his, and it is if we want permanent improvement. It was only after Carla didn't have any more solutions that he gently offered his own ideas. Now it's time to wrap things up. Congratulations or continuation.
Oh, Carla, I've been monitoring your calls. You really explained that last missed delivery very well. And I've got to say, you're noticeably friendlier. I like what I'm hearing. Congratulations.
Thanks. I think I'm getting it.
And we like that. By the way, what did you decide to use? The Be Friendly sign or the picture of you and Laura?
Both.
Much coaching takes place in a planned way to fill a perceived need. You find out that there's a gap in the performance of an employee, then plan a coaching approach that should improve the performance of that employee. It's nice to be able to think about what you're going to do, formulate your plan, and decide when you're going to do your coaching. As we all know, the business world is often not that orderly. Well, what about those situations where on-the-spot coaching is required, when you're walking by and see a situation that requires correcting now before a serious situation develops? Jim, our coach, was walking with his new assistant coach, Lauren, when they came across a situation that needed immediate attention. Watch this.
Morning, Joe.
Hey, Jim.
I hear you've had a busy morning today.
Oh, yeah, I've been busy.
Is that right?
Busy, yeah.
Well, you know, it's that time of year. It's very tough to get a let-up, to catch a break at all. And speaking of breaks, I'm concerned about you playing that game at your desk. You want to help me understand why you're doing that?
Well, I've been busy all morning. I mean, I'm just taking a break and doing something mindless to relax. You know, I never do this. I mean, I was doing it this one time, and sure enough, you guys walked by.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, let me understand what you're saying here. This is the first time you've taken a break all morning, and it's the first time you've played the game at your desk. Am I hearing you correctly?
Right. This is my first break of the day, and this isn't the first time, but I don't do it that often. I mean, the other reps, they do crossword puzzles and things.
Well, the issue I have is that it looks like you're using company time to play this game. Can you understand why that would be a concern for me and for the company?
So what? You don't want me to take a break?
Joe, taking a break is not the issue. In fact, I encourage you to take your break. It's playing the game at your desk that's my concern.
So it'd be better to avoid doing break activities at my desk?
Exactly.
Well, okay, I guess I could probably, leave my desk when it's break time and take this with me to the snack room.
That's a good idea. It's real important, Joe, to keep your break activities separate from your work time. I'll check back with you later today to see how it's going. And I appreciate your willingness to take care of this.
Okay.
It's important for the coach to follow up a bit later. If the necessary changes aren't met, then a continued action plan would need to be decided with Joe's concurrence, content, and commitment. Let's watch our coach follow up.
Hey, Joe, how was that afternoon break today?
Oh, it was great. Hey, I took this to the snack room with me today. Message received.
Thanks. Listen, I appreciate your willingness to see my point of view on this.
Oh, yeah, we'll be okay.
The knowledge of a good coach comes from a blend of traditional learning resources along with a big dose of on-the-job training. Now let's recap what we've learned while we watch Jim prepare his assistant Lauren for a coaching session she's about to try.
So, are you nervous?
Yeah, a little.
Well, relax. You're going to do just fine. Now, tell me about this problem with Sarah.
Okay. Sarah is a good employee. Her customers like her, and she really gets along well with everyone here.
Good.
But there's just one problem.
And that would be...
Well, about 3 days a week, she's late to work. Not a lot, maybe 5 or 10 minutes late, but it's every week, and we need to correct it.
So, how do you plan to handle that?
Well, I'll use the 4 C's. For concurrence, I plan to get into it with my observations and then ask her some questions so I can better understand.
Good. Give me some examples.
Okay, Sarah, we're pleased with your skills on the phone. Your coworkers and customers say they always feel comfortable with you. There's just one area of improvement I'd like to talk with you about, and it has to do with your coming to work late.
Now, how will you get concurrence that being late is a problem?
Well, I'll ask her to talk about why her shift hours are from 8 to 5 and how that applies to her position.
Fine. What's next?
Well, the next C is content. We have a case here where it's not a tough area to identify.
Right.
We have a really good employee who simply needs to be at work about 10 minutes earlier each day. I'll say something like, Sarah, do you understand how your coming in late means you're not here to meet the needs of your customers who start calling at 8 a.m.?
And how will you get her to agree that the problem is being late, and then what to do about it?
Well, I will ask her, what can you think of to rectify the situation? And then come to agreement with her as to what we can do about it.
And then?
Well, our third C is commitment.
Right.
I doubt we'll have a problem with this either. This is Sarah's first real job, and she may not be aware of the importance we place on our employees being on time.
It's a good point. Now, how will you phrase your questions to her?
Well, I'll remind her of the solutions we've agreed upon and ask her, can I count on you to be here before 8 a.m. every morning?
Well, it sounds right. And then what?
Our fourth C is congratulations or continuation.
Right.
I'll check back on her over the next few days to see if my coaching worked. If so, I'll congratulate her. If not, then it's continuation. I'll continue to coach using the 4 C's, but we'll try different solutions.
I like your plan. Now, let's talk about a couple of things to remember to be a more effective coach. For instance, when you hold this coaching session, what kind of setting do you plan to be in?
Well, let's see. The first thing I can think of is it needs to be private. Like this conference room would work well.
Sure.
If I were to use any training materials, then I'd need to review them in advance and have them ready.
Mm-hmm. Another thing, why all the questions? I mean, wouldn't it just be easier to come right out and tell her what's wrong?
Jim, are you coaching me?
Oh, maybe a little bit.
Now, anytime I can ask questions and not tell or direct and have the employee come up with the answer, then I'm way ahead. I mean, they'll be much more likely to buy into what I'm asking if they help think of it. It's only when someone really doesn't get it that I'll be more direct in coming up with a solution. Then I'll introduce the solution as a question rather than a statement of command.
I like your insight. Now, how specific do you need to be in this?
Right. Well, our desired outcome must be clear. Nothing fuzzy or too broad.
Exactly.
None of this, we shape up or let's see some improvement. You know, we need clearly defined and specific objectives.
Lauren, I got to tell you, congratulations. You're really going to be an effective coach.
Oh, thanks. You've really helped me.
Well, it's my job.
Let's review one more time. The 4 C's are: 1. Concurrence, agreement that a gap in performance exists. 2. Content, agreement as to what the gap is and what to do about it. 3. Commitment, agreement to take action to fill the gap. 4. Congratulations or continuation, reward the new behavior or agree to keep working on it. So there you have it, the 4 C's of coaching skills. Use the 4 C's to hold employees accountable for the skills they've been taught. Doing this will increase the transfer of learning within your organization. We hope you'll watch this program often and apply the 4 C's of coaching skills in your organization. I'm Nancy Friedman, the telephone doctor. Thank you for watching.